Well, Lana, speaking of the border, if anything, it appears now as if the Republicans want an open border.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying in my tweets.
Yeah.
Republican wants open border.
This just
The
came out.
Republican border crisis. Sorry.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we have a Republican border crisis,
Mhm.
and I hope Fox News covers it the same way that they do
Exactly.
when they decide it's time
Exactly.
to spark up the border chyrons and
Mhm.
stuff. But the Senate Appropriations Committee released on Sunday the text of their sweeping $118.3 billion emergency spending package,
Wow.
which combines foreign aid with restrictive policy changes for the U.S.-Mexico border. The bill's fate is highly uncertain, with the package held up for months as a bipartisan group of senators hashed out a border deal to appease Republicans.
Mhm.
An initial vote is expected this week, which it is my understanding that's supposed to be tomorrow. And uh, uh, Mitch McConnell is saying to vote no on it. Which again, I mean, I think you said it perfectly earlier, is that it's a no lose situation, in my
Right.
opinion, for Joe Biden. In fact, if it does
Right.
pass, the only thing I think that might be a loss for Biden is you're going to have some Democrats mad about it. I mean, that's
Right.
really about it.
Right.
DA just asking just said Republicans want closed borders like Tim Scott wants a wife. That's about as perfect as an analogy as you can get. That is exactly right.
That's hilarious.
Let's see here, Lana. Republicans are
Hi,
divided over.
DA.
Hey, I follow him on Twitter too, by the way.
He's
Republicans are
not
divided
funny.
over whether to support additional aid for Ukraine and whether the newly negotiated border measures go far enough to stop illegal border crossings. So this seems to be a sticking point with a lot of the Republican, I should say the MAGA Republican people who have been programmed to believe that us giving money to Ukraine is a
Right.
horrible thing for the United States, even though probably 85 to 90% of even Republicans believe this is important because Russia is not our fucking friend.
Are you
They're not
sure?
our buddy.
Are you sure? Because
Yeah, I'm quite sure. Yeah.
Tucker Carlson sure believes that they're our friends.
Who
Didn't
does?
Tucker? Didn't he take a
Oh,
trip to
yeah, he was
Russia?
just there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just fucking great. That's
Yeah.
great.
Rewriting history. That's what they do.
So the House Speaker Mike Johnson called the deal dead on arrival already in the House
Dead
and
on
repeatedly
arrival.
criticized what he had heard about the deal. I also heard him in an interview on Fox News where it was with Laura Ingraham, and he says that he talks to the president about this, and basically the president is telling him there's absolutely no question, and this is what it's all about, is that Trump says you cannot do a border deal with Joe Biden. That gives him
Absolutely.
points. If you
Yep.
do a border deal with Joe Biden, I am going to be
Yep.
fucking irate.
Yep.
You would think that some of these Republicans would go, who the fuck cares, because your ass will be in jail.
Nope.
But they do believe. I mean, they still believe even if he gets arrested and goes to jail, other than the Georgia case, because I believe that's the only one where he can't immune himself. He's I don't. What was I just saying?
The Stormy Daniels too, right?
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit coming up with this guy, but it's I don't know, it's crazy, and it is, like I said, what I was saying is that this is clear that this is all direction for Donald Trump, because he cannot give Joe Biden any points. If you give Joe Biden's any points, then as the process goes on, it's just going to be worse and worse for him, and he is going to go to jail, and he knows it, and he knows there's nothing to do about it.
And we're not making this up, right? Like, we heard Chuck Grassley say it. We heard the oldest member of the Senate, 90 years old, actually say we cannot give out No, that was the other thing. Oh,
No,
Lord.
no, no, he did though. He said
Yeah,
it
right.
before.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, but I'm getting, like, all of it
No,
confused,
because
like
it's been said more than by more
right,
than
yeah.
just one
Yeah,
person. There's
it's
that guy
right.
who walks around with his cigar like an
Yeah, yeah,
asshole.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't remember his
They
name, but
give him a
he
win.
comes to the camera again like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like he's a badass with his stupid cigar in his hand, talking about we can't give Joe Biden any points. And I don't know, man. It's a joke. This country's become a joke because of Donald Trump and because of Fox News and the right-wing media. Period. Period. End of
Yeah, it's
story.
really sad because people really are suffering. It's like, from the border to the
Yeah.
child tax credit, right? Like now is not the time. We can't give out checks right before an election because it'll make Biden look good. We can't try to do anything with the border because it'll make Biden look good. Like, what about your constituents? And
Yeah.
then, but the very constituents are like, they don't care.
Well,
They
they're
just
the ones in Texas. First of all, I will also say one other thing that I'm getting pretty tired of is hearing other Americans pretending like the border is their number one issue in
right.
their life. Not
Pretending.
one of these people can name one, I mean, even half an event
Right,
that has happened to them
right,
where the border crisis, and I'm
right.
not trying to say that it's not a crisis. So if you're watching this and you're going to make your stupid little comments, let me make clear the border is a problem. It's been a
Mhm.
problem for decades. But
Correct.
these Americans who are in Iowa or who are in Minnesota or
Alabama.
in Washington trying to act like this is the biggest crisis in our lifetime right now. And the fact that Joe Biden is doing nothing about it and President Trump he would come in and just shut down the border and do everything. It's mind-boggling. First of all, Trump cannot come in
Cannot.
and just shut down the
He
border. He
cannot.
was able to do it one time. He was able to do it once during COVID,
Right.
and there is a law that
Fine.
basically says if there's something that could hurt the country, if there's a reason why,
Mhm.
you can do it. So he was able to shut it down temporarily, but he didn't do it because he's some strong man. He did it
Right,
because he was able to do it under a loophole in the
right.
in the wall.
Well, and the crazy thing is, if you pass this bill, the conservative bipartisan bill, it will give Biden authority to
Yes,
shut down the wall when it gets to shut the border down when it gets too crazy, where it's out of control.
correct.
He can shut the border down. He can't
Yes,
do that. He can't do that now. What do you think what do y'all think the border is? A door? You think
right.
you just shut the door and lock it and you're like, nah, you can't get in? Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah, you know what? In fact, I was going to play the comments of President Biden, but first, because you just said that, I want to show you a little clip of a report that a young lady from CNN did. She actually went to Eagle Pass to report
Mhm.
on these people who think they're going to go to the border and do something. I don't know what it is they think they're going to do, but let's take a look at what is actually going on at the border.
Texas, even other parts of the country to be here. And some of them, even though we are about a half hour from Eagle Pass, have driven down to Eagle Pass to try to actually see what's happening at the border. And I've spoken to a number of people who said that they're a little surprised by what they're seeing here. I want to play a conversation with a woman, Misty. Take a listen.
Before Misty talks, this poor lady is very professional. She does a very good job, but I have this feeling that inside of her, she wants to just say, these fucking idiots who are
Right.
down here in Eagle Pass, who
Yep.
actually think they're going to stop something and that they're
Yep.
seeing something that that's what I would hope she would say, but she's professional. She does a
Very
very good job.
professional.
All right, let's listen to Misty.
Come on, Misty.
Come on, Misty.
It's pretty surreal. We actually made it into Eagle Pass and we went and saw Shelby Park. I was able to see some people actually trying to cross and stopped at the wire there. So
Now, this is an actual tourist visit, unlike the Capitol.
it's very eye-opening.
And tell me more about eye-opening. Is it what you expected? Is it better? Is it worse?
It's not what I expected, but then again, I don't know what I expected. I can tell you it's not as bad as what I thought. So
Right.
that's kind of eye-opening in itself too. Yeah.
Yeah, if Marjorie Taylor Greene hears that, she's going to be extradited from the Republican Party because that
Right.
was not the report that she wanted to hear.
Exactly. It wasn't as bad. Like, what did you think you was gonna see?
I'll tell you. Well, see, that's the thing. I'll tell you exactly what it is that they thought they were going to see. They thought they were going to see all these migrants and gang members come in and try to
Yeah,
invade because
yeah,
that's the story they've been told,
yeah.
and it's been told for years. Every time there's a Democratic president, it has been told that the people breaking through the border are coming in with all kinds of fentanyl. They're coming in with all kinds of guns and knives,
Mhm.
and they are here and ready to take over this country and rape your women and
Yeah.
children. And that's what she thought she was going to see, period.
Wow, Missy came to see some rape.
Misty came to see some rape. She was like, it wasn't as
See?
bad as I thought. I saw no rape.
She was like so
So
disappointed.
crazy.
She wanted to see some crime. She's like, "Where's
Yeah.
the fentanyl, guys?"
Yeah. DA just said 90% of Americans think you need a passport to visit New Mexico. That is pretty true too.
That's true. They're like, they go to New Mexico. They're like, "Where's the border?"
Yeah. They're like, I don't see anybody. And poor Misty saw no freaking rape. She's pissed. Now here's a real president talking about the border and the package that the Senate tried to put together for this border. Let's listen to Joe's comments. And if you are listening to this show instead of watching a clip on Breitbart, or you're watching it on one of your social media feeds that have nothing but MAGA nuts on here, you're going to expect a Joe Biden who doesn't know where he's at and doesn't know how to speak and stumbles all over his words. Let's see if he can get through it.
But if the bill fails, I want to be absolutely clear about something. The American people are going to know why it failed. I'll be taking this issue to the country, and the voters are going to know that it's not just a moment. Just at the moment, we're going to secure the border and fund these other programs. Trump and the MAGA Republicans said no because they're afraid of Donald Trump. Afraid of Donald Trump.
He laughed. He's like, "What?"
Every day between now and November, the American people are going to know that the only reason the border is not secure is Donald Trump and his MAGA Republican friends. It's time for Republicans in the Congress to show a little courage, to show a little spine, to make it clear to the American people that you work for them, not for anyone else. I know who I work for. I work for the American people.
That's right, Joe. Tell him.
Yeah, and I want to make one thing clear. That's not a guy who doesn't know where he's at. That's
Exactly.
fucking Christian Bale Batman is who that was. Dark Brandon is
He's
bringing it.
He's like, they're afraid of Trump.
Yeah. He's like, the fuck you upset about? What are you afraid of Donald Trump?
He's like, come out back, Donald.
It is true, though. Why are they so afraid of this guy? There's nothing about him that's
not him.
scary.
It's not him. It's his followers.
They're afraid of them now?
It's his
But
followers.
should they be? I think they, and don't get me wrong, there are nuts and they can do some scary shit. But I think as a whole, I think they just like the anger part of it. I don't know if they like
a lot of them too, but I think like the ones that we thought were more moderate that are just going along, I think they're afraid. Like because a lot of them left, like Romney. These guys know that it's wrong, but I think they're afraid. Nikki Haley has to.
I'm sorry, you're talking about the Congress people, the congressmen and women.
Right.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they follow because they're afraid. Nikki Haley needs security now. I was surprised she didn't have it. I'm like, because in my head, I was thinking like, girl, the longer you go, they're gonna want to get you.
Yeah.
Because his followers are crazy. So there's no way she's not getting death threats right now. There's no way.
I will say this. I think they're the followers, the MAGA people. I think and that's what I was alluding to a few minutes ago. I think they say crazy shit. Mm-hmm. I think some of them are capable of doing crazy shit, but the vast majority of, not the vast majority, but yeah, I'd say the vast majority of them are 45 years or older. And they're at a point now where they're like, I can still get angry, but goddamn, getting off this couch does not.
I don't see. I don't know. I don't believe that, because they will get off that couch with that gun. Because remember, these are all these gun-toting people that can get these guns without permits. They
Well,
will get off the couch and do some crime. I don't
maybe
know.
maybe I asked that because I think maybe the threat of MAGA. Now, I want to first of all, we got to separate this a little bit, because I'm talking about, because there's a couple of different sides of MAGA that I think.
Right.
You have those
True.
Nazi people who are
Right.
in the street, those people
Right.
are fucking scary.
Right.
Those are the people who the FBI and the Department of Justice say are the biggest threat to this country. Those people are the scary ones. The other side of MAGA ones that you always see interviewed with the big beer gut and they're not doing shit. They love being angry. They've their whole lives they've been angry, and this MAGA movement satisfies that anger so well for them that it just somehow they love it. They love every second of it. So, but you're right. There are, I think, obviously, if anybody's going to cause any kind of destruction or problems, especially when it comes to the reasoning of why they're doing is because of fucking politicians, it's going to be those nutballs.
It only just takes one, right? Like, it only takes one to go from some lazy dude on the couch to I'm going to get my gun. Because who was that guy? Literally, who was he? Did he get to shoot up anyone, or did they shot him? I remember the older guy and his family. The defense was they shouldn't have shot him because he's old and disabled. But there were pictures of him with the
Vaguely
gun.
remember that. Yeah, I vaguely remember it.
Right. So, like, they're there, and Nikki Haley to these people is standing in the way of something.
Yeah.
Right. She's in Trump's way. They want to remove her. So I think that she would get more than just crazy for real, trying to come at her, because Donald Trump doesn't like her. So
no, he doesn't. But what's going to happen as soon as this is all over? She's just going to fall in line and she's going to endorse Donald Trump.
Right,
but she'll endorse Donald Trump the same way Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton.
She said she would pardon him if he went to jail if she was president. So
absurd. DJ just asking questions, had a couple more comments. 9/11 happened during a Republican administration. Very true. Democrats have always been more responsible with national security. Well, I've always said too, we keep talking about terrorist attack. Everybody keeps talking about terrorist attack in this. There's really only been two major terrorist attacks in this country. It was 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. Those are the two major terrorist attacks. Outside of that, if you want to line up all the other terrorist attacks that happened in this country, they've come from within. They've come from our own people.
Right.
So,
terrorists, right?
Did you see January 6th? The other MAGA are the ones who converge on the Capitol. Now, those are the people. Again, I think you had a mix of people in that Capitol. You had the people I was talking about, the beer gut guy that he was going in but wasn't going to do shit.
Right.
And then you had the other ones with the zip ties, and they had plans. If they saw Nancy Pelosi or AOC or anybody else they didn't like, it was on for sure, 100%. They were all doing that for their fat orange daddy.
What color is your daddy?
Yeah, orange. Here is Lana. I believe he's the lead of the border control. And he was on Fox News being asked about this. Now, he is in charge of the border. This guy controls but he's in charge of it. And he's being asked on Fox News about the border
goes
bill.
Forth has to be much better immediately.
Harris, we're not going to get much better immediately, so I'm going to take those incremental steps. If this were going to to tie Donald
politics
Trump's
is.
hands, I would be opposed to it immediately. It doesn't. It doesn't tie any good administration's hands.
So why do you think he's against it?
I have.
Which I hope the only reason why she asked him that was because she wanted to elicit the response that we gave earlier. Is that because Donald Trump? Otherwise, you know, there is no other reason to ask that question.
There's no other reason.
Because Donald Trump could tell exactly why he believes, but he hasn't said one fucking word as to why he doesn't think it should happen, other than it's a terrible bill. He was saying it before the bill even came out. He had no idea what was in the bill, but he was telling everybody how terrible it was.
No idea. I haven't spoken with him about it. If he has specific issues, let him air those issues. I will give the positive points in this bill. There are negative points. But if we don't even let this bill come to light, if this bill doesn't even go to the floor, we don't even get amendments. And that's what everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about killing it before you're able to even offer amendments. That's wrong. Let's have the.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good point.
That's it. We were just talking about that. Like, they don't even say, hey, give us the bill. Let us look at it. Let us add some stuff, which there's nothing left for them to fucking add, because you're saying fentanyl, whatever, is crossing the border, whatever. Right. 100 more machines that detect fentanyl. So Republicans said, nope, we don't want those machines. Thousands more border agents. Nope, they don't want that. Thousands more immigration judges. Nope, don't want that. Thousands more processing agents. Nope, don't want that. They don't even, what the Democrats wanted was the dreamers to be taken care of and a way for them to become a pathway to being citizens or being legal.
Correct.
That's not in there, right? The main things that Democrats want are not in there, and the Republicans are getting everything, and Biden able to shut down the border when it gets overwhelmed, right? They're like, nope, dead on arrival.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a bill of everything that they would want. You know, the problem, I guess the only issue for them is it doesn't have where it is people are getting killed from razor wire and drowning, and they're not getting shot down. I think that's the biggest issue that they may have with it, other than the fact that Daddy says no.
But you know what? Even if it had in there, put the razor wire everywhere, they would still say,
yep,
no way.
No question. They would find a caveat. They would find something like the Ukraine money, or the, you know, they didn't say anything about the Israel money, but the Ukraine money, the cost of the border policy changes come to $20 billion for transportation for deportation shelters, more than 4,000 new asylum officers, more border agents, anti-fentanyl trafficking efforts, and other resources. And I believe, I can't remember the number, I was trying to find it on here. There's more money for the wall, to build the wall. So, I mean, what the fuck is the problem? Well, we know what the problem is. Why am I asking that?
Right. And then you got Greg Abbott over here talking about, I'm not removing my razor wire until Biden does something with the border. What? You should be mad at Mike Johnson. What are you talking about?
God, these people are fucked up.
I hate them.
Me too.
That is true.
See.
Jay said if it was crack instead of fentanyl, they'd be all over it.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Leroy and BLM be coming across that border with some crack.
There is no question about it. No doubt. Well, the Republicans have also turned this James Lankford guy into he's the new enemy, because he's a Republican who is very calmly going around to all the shows saying, I don't really know what the problem is. Here he is with Brian Kilmeade talking about the border and the solution and everything. And let's see what he has to say.
He said, not only does he say he needs 3 weeks to read through it, he said no self-respecting senators should agree to vote on a 370-page bill this week. Any 41 senators can prevent the bill from proceeding. If you agree that senators should have this bill for at least a few weeks, and certainly more than a few days before voting on it, say so. You understand where he's coming from, right? Don't you guys have a procedural vote this week? And you're going to vote on the bill by the end of the week?
Fuck is
We
going?
actually have this bill came out yesterday, Sunday. The first procedural vote is Wednesday, and that procedural vote is literally just.
I don't know. I might have to. I don't know what's going on with the clips, but
are we going to debate it this week?
Let me see.
That's what Senator Lee is actually talking about. It's interesting that he said he's already opposed to it. He needs 3 weeks to be able to read it.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with the videos.
Like, what the hell, man? It's 300 pages. You're a freaking lawmaker. Why do you need that much time?
Well, first of all, he's already complaining about not having time, and he was just like, well, you know, you've got the time, you've got everything that you need to do, and he's basically saying, you know, there was one clip of him talking about, you know, they were complaining about something in the bill, but it turned out what they were complaining about is it was giving water to people who may be dying trying to cross the you know, the border. And he was even like, you know, we're Americans. We still have feelings for human beings. We're not looking for people to die.
Why would Republicans want to give water to migrants and they don't want to feed American children?
It's a good question.
Why would they do
that? I don't know. I don't know. We're definitely losing. We're losing our minds.
Why would this why?
Over here. It makes no sense. Like I said, I'm tired of the border being the number one issue. I'm tired of them overplaying their hand on this border thing. Now I'm tired of the fact that they already have something in place. Now they're saying, I don't want it. All this stuff. I'm over it.
You know what else didn't make sense? I mean, I know this isn't on your schedule of things down here, but so the guy that murdered his dad, decapitated his dad in Pennsylvania, right? Well, we know he did it. Horrible, radical, right-wing guy. You heard about that?
Yeah.
Right. So come to find out, he had 3 lawsuits against the federal government because he went to school, I think from 2010 to 2014, and he was pissed off with the government because he had to take out 4 loans, right? Mm-hmm. So he's pissed that he had to take out 4 loans. So he sued the government. Here's the thing. You're suing the government because you're mad that you had to take out student loans, but you're literally also mad at Joseph Biden because in his tirade on YouTube, he hates Biden, the Democrats, BLM, but it's like Biden and the Democrats are trying to forgive your fucking school loans. Like, you're hating the wrong people. Like, that's how stupid they are. Like, it was just that simple thing. I'm just like, you're mad you have to pay student loans, and Biden's out here trying to forgive student loans, but you're not catching that part.
It's the same thing as those same people who are bitching about people on food stamps. Meanwhile, the red states have more food stamps than any other state in the, than any of the other states in the country. So it just.
Well, the government's kind of stealing that money, aren't they? Like, isn't that what's going on? Because I did hear that, like, a lot of that welfare is going unused because the government has been stealing that shit.
That I didn't see.
Yeah, because it's part of that, like, that, what's that guy, the football player?
Herschel Walker?
No, Favre or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Brett Favre. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I guess that happens in a lot of these states where a lot of the welfare is being unused.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, that's true.
Denying people welfare that need to have it because they're using the money. I don't know.
It's going to a famous football player's daughter to build a volleyball court at the college she goes to.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's exactly right. So, and it's great. Brett Favre, there was little messages on him. He's like, do you think this is ever going to get out? He doesn't want it to get out. And I don't know. I'm
you read your
read what?
Your comments.
Where are we at here? Cat Williams read the entire bill in 13 minutes. Yeah. Probably twice. Baby Juggernaut has joined the group chat. Damn right, I'm not watching humans go away. It's kind of the whole point. We don't want to see humans die.
Yeah.
That's not, there is a fantasy, I think, with a lot of these people. There's this fantasy of, I don't know if it comes from video games or it just comes from their anger. It comes, it's just, they don't look at these people crossing the borders as humans. They don't look at it as human life. They look at it as toys or, something you shoot at.
It's racist. It's just not even the video games. It's just like they're the other. They're the vermin. They're the rapists. They're those people. So Trump is good at that, making them those people so that you don't. But again, we can't even make it that simple, right? Because we watched what they did. I always go back to this because this was like a turning moment for me when Sandy Hook happened and I saw those white, beautiful babies with blue eyes and blonde hair, which is the ultimate America, right?
Yep.
America is blonde hair, blue eyes. That's been America's default. Like that's the best of the best. We saw those babies slaughtered.
Yep.
And Republicans still didn't shed a tear, didn't care, and no gun reform.
Should have known it was all over
It was
at that.
That was my turning point. That was when I was like, "Oh God damn, they thugs. They don't even care about their own."
Yeah, it's crazy, and I think that was even at a time too. That was at a time I think the NRA was even way more powerful than they are now. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, it makes no sense. And you got so many people that are fighting for the wrong things and fighting for the wrong people. And it just makes no sense. And trying to explain it in any rational manner is just nearly impossible. It doesn't seem like you could do it.
Right.
Baby Juggernaut says Favre is a piece of work. There's absolutely no question about it. He was a great quarterback. But are you rooting for anybody? We already went over that. Kansas City. And he said, it's bad guys. They are my neighbors in Carolina. Hear their bullshit all the time. Believe me, I'm in Florida. I get it a lot. I don't believe Lana gets it as much in Massachusetts, which she's very lucky.
I mean, we have some races.
Sure, you do. I mean,
they definitely have.
Boston still probably isn't known as, I think they still have a reputation. I don't know if it's as bad as it was. You obviously can answer that better than I can.
Yeah, I was telling DA the other day, we have Mayor Wu, right? She's an Asian woman. So a lot of the race, they hate her because she's changing. We're a blue state, but she's just pushing it further to the limits. Like she's hired a reparations task force, right? Like I need a report in a year. Yeah. She's like pushing black initiatives for black men and black boys, right?
Yeah.
Like the forgotten, right? The things that we want Biden to do.
Yeah.
And then I was also talking about how Stewart, remember Charles Stewart, how he blamed a black man for killing his pregnant wife and he did it. She apologized to that. She got that black man and apologized, made a big press conference and did it in person, right? Like, so she's definitely making those type of strides and changes for the city of Boston because she knows the reputation. So she's trying to definitely change a lot of those things. So I like her.
Well, good.
Any chance I get, I try to give like Maureen Healy and Mayor Wu, because women are running Massachusetts right now. So,
that's where that things are probably going to be done right, is because fucking women are running it. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I mean, I've said a million times that I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about homeless, and we were talking about, you see, almost all of them are men. And I said, the reason why almost all of them are men is because men will go in a show, and if they feel like things aren't going to work out, that women will always figure something out. Always. They'll always figure something out.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of homeless women, which is sad, but no, you're right. A lot of women will figure it out, and men tend to like, I don't know. They don't ask for help. They just will not just do anything.
That's what it is. Sometimes it's pride. Sometimes it's, they get into their feelings. And yeah, there are certainly homeless women, but just where I see, I mean, the ratio, I mean, it's, it seems like 9 to 1, or something like that, but who knows? I don't know.